Hi, students. So today um, we are going to keep talking about WH words or WH questions. Who, what, when, where, and why, and how. So today we're going to talk about speaking using these words and interacting with these questions. So I have some examples of places that you would be asked these kinds of questions. So for example, at the doctor's office, right? I'm sure all of you have had the experience or you've gone to the doctor or you've went to the doctor um, and they've asked you what is wrong, what's wrong. Or if you were in an accident, like a car accident, the police and the paramedics, the people that drive in the ambulance, right? Um, they ask you what happened, right? What happened? Can you tell me what happened so they can know how to help you, right? You use it when you're telling stories, right? People will ask you, you'll be talking to friends and you'll say something like, I had a bad day. And your friends ask, well, what happened? Right? So they ask that kind of stuff. And job interviews, you'll get the question, why? You know, why do you want this job? What experience do you have? And we will be asked these kinds of questions everywhere. And we can also ask those questions to people, right? We can ask people if you're talking to a friend, you know, what happened? You know, why are you sad? Or are you okay? Why do you seem, tired? You can ask other people these questions. So we're going to talk about, going to the doctor's office. So in the doctor's office, they ask you, what is wrong? What seems to be the problem? So they're using what, which means that they kind of want to tell you, even though they're using the word what instead of, why, they want you to explain like the pain that you're in or something that happened to you. So if they say, what is wrong? You could say, my back hurts or my arm hurts or I cut my hand very deep, right? I cut my hand really bad. You can tell them what happened, right? But sometimes you have to tell them how it happened, You have to explain the order of how things happened, right? So even though they say, what is wrong? What seems to be the problem? They can also ask you, how did it happen? What were you doing when it happened, right? So they say, what were you doing? So they're saying, they used what were you doing? So what was the action that you were doing? When, which is time, when it happened. So what they want you to answer is, they want you to explain when, so the time that they're talking about is when the injury, when you got hurt. And then what were you doing that made you get hurt, right? So my back hurts. I picked up something heavy and felt pain in my back. So that's how we can explain, right? When we get asked these kinds of questions. The next one that we can do, um, one of the places that we get asked these questions is car accidents, right? So this picture, this is a drawing of like a car accident that happened, right? So you'll see that this car backed up and then this car backed up and they hit each other, right? So that's showing a car accident. But when we get in car accidents, or if you see a car accident happen and the police ask you to write down a report, you have to say what happened. So let's look at this, and you can, think of, practice what you would say. So if somebody said, what happened, and this picture is what happened, then what you want to do is think about, okay, I need to tell them the order, right? I need to tell them everything that happened. So let's pretend that you are in the green car. So what you would say would be something like, I was backing up, right? I was backing up my car and didn't see the orange car. They were backing up and didn't see me. So that's how you would explain what happened, right? You can't really, when they say what, it really means, explain, how it happened. How did this happen, right? What happened? And then you could, right? You could be talking to friends, and, you could say, I had a bad day yesterday. Just like, oh, I'm so tired. I had a bad day yesterday. And somebody goes, oh, what happened? Then you're going to tell them what happened. What were the things that happened? My bus was late and I forgot my lunch, right? So that doesn't have to be what happened, why that day was bad, but that could be one of the things, right? You could say, oh, I had a bad day yesterday. I'm so tired. I want the day to be over because I'm so tired. My bus was late and I forgot my lunch. Those kinds of things. And in job interviews. So in job interviews, they can ask you questions like, why do you want this job? Or what experience do you have, right? They could ask you, and that an experience just means, what have you done that makes it so you can do this job, right? That's what experiences is things that you've done that help you do the job. So why do you want this job? So some of the things you could say is, I want to help people. And this one you could say too, it just depends on what you want to say, which is hard because I can't be there to like help you figure out what to say. So, but you can say things like, I enjoy difficult but rewarding work. Difficult just means hard, right? I enjoy hard but rewarding work. And rewarding, in this way, in this sentence, it just means work that is, and it has ing, so you're probably like, what does this mean? Rewarding work. Reward in English means you are given something for doing something and it's good, right? That's what reward is, right? So if you'll see on like lost dog posters, they'll say reward $5,000, right? A reward is when somebody, or when you get something for doing something good, right? That's what a reward is. So rewarding work is work that gives you something good, right? For doing something good. And when you say rewarding work, that just means anything that you think is good and it gives back to you, whether it makes you feel good, whether it makes you, whether it gives you a lot of things back, like it gives you, it pays really well, or things like that. So those are some of the things that you could say, I want to help people. I enjoy difficult but rewarding work. And so when they're asking why, they want you to explain what are the reasons that you want the job, right? That's because why wants you, the question word why wants you to explain your reasons. Okay, so now we're going to talk about pronunciation. So this one is kind of hard because I'm sure a lot of you may have been listening to me and been like, what word did she say? I don't know what she said. So for pronunciation, it's kind of hard because when we read the words, there's H's next to W's, and how makes the H sound, but who doesn't make a W sound? What's happening? So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about this. So the important thing is to not so much worry about what's in the middle of the word, right? The letters in the middle, just what comes at the beginning and the ending things. So the ending letters. So for what, the beginning sound is just like a wah, but you want to make the A sound, but not an ah sound, like a wah, what. So it kind of sounds like a U, right? What. But you just want to make sure that you want to say wah with the A, what, and you want to put that t on the end. In a lot of native English speakers will say what, right? And you'll be like, what did they do? What? And the T, we don't make a what. We don't go, oh, what is wrong? A lot of people just say what. And they don't make a t sound, but they kind of just put their tongue behind their teeth. They go, what? They don't go what, right? They don't go what. They go what. So I would say that until you feel comfortable just saying what, I would just try and say what. What is wrong? What? And you'll just get better. And instead of being like what, it'll just kind of flow together. What? What is wrong? What happened? The next one is when. So instead of doing a wha, you do a we. When. So you make the W sound wha, when. And then you just make sure you make a n sound at the end. When. So what, when. And the next one, you're going to go where. So we don't worry about the E right here because it's silent. It doesn't do anything to help us pronounce the word. But we're going to make a where. So instead of a T or an N at the end, we make a sound. Where. So what, when, where. And the next one is why. So instead of, we know that the Y in English, it makes like a I sound, but it can make an I sound. Like it sounds like the letter I, right? Y. So for this one, we make the W sound and then we just go why. So you're just saying the W and I sound together. Why, right? So that's the pronunciation for that one. And the next one is how. So this one, instead of making a W sound, there's just an H, right? So you make a how. And so you kind of make the sound at the same time as the ow sound. So there's a W at the end. So you go how. Your mouth is making this big like ow shape. And you just make sure you make a so how. The next one that we're going to do is who. So this one we completely ignore. We don't pay attention to the W because we're not making a W sound, right? We're making an H sound. Who. So the vowel sound that we need to make is a oo sound. Who. But we want to make a sound, right? who, how, who. So that's some of the pronunciation. I know that I can't think of any of you guys that I've had trouble understanding what you're saying, and that this is something that I didn't understand you guys say. I think that all of you have very good pronunciation. But I thought I just would go over this just because, especially with the word what, native English speakers pronounce it differently from the way that it's like written. We don't put the T at the end all the time, right? We'll say, like I said, native English speakers like me, I've probably said it a lot in the lesson. Instead of saying what, I say what, what, which is, I'm not making a t sound. What? I just kind of stop the sound by putting my tongue behind my teeth and I go, what, instead of what, what. So that's it for today. I'm going to try and do better to help you with speaking practice more. It's just hard when we can't talk to each other. But I think as long as you do the lessons and you at least pause it to try and talk in English, and even if you are just repeating what I'm saying, it's helping you to practice speaking English, and the more you practice, the easier it gets. So that's it for today.